Hi, welcome to Tutor Talk. My name's Dave Johnson. We've got another video for you here today. Today we're going to talk about assignments. We're going to talk about mocks as well. I have Helen here from the marking team. Do you want to introduce yourself, Helen?
Oh, hi, David. Helen Evans, or may not be a familiar face to some of the students watching this. Tutor with ACTED, oh my goodness me. I've been with ACTED over 20 years now. I teach CB1, CP1, CP3. I teach the pensions paper, SP4, and really relevant for today. I'm involved in helping with the marking management side of things, which we're going to talk about.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for joining us today, Helen. So as I say, we're going to talk about assignments and we're going to talk about mocks today. What are the assignments and mocks, first of all, Helen?
Yeah, so I'm sure many students have got the CMP, and if you've got the CMP, you might well have seen at the end of the course there some of the assignments. So we offer a range of assignments, X assignments, and in some of the early subjects, Y assignments as well. Also, as students get closer to the exams, we've got a range of mock exams. We've got sort of a standard mock exam paper. We've also got additional mock exam papers too. Fantastic. And those are available with solutions, so you can work your way through questions, etc.
Fabulous. So yes, we've alluded to marking a couple of times already. So let's talk a bit about marking. So the ACTED marking service, what exactly does that provide?
So we have a host of really experienced markers who were prepared to mark student scripts. So students can buy marking from us, and we will then arrange for the scripts to be marked, and you get sort of excellent feedback from our markers in terms of how you are preparing for the exam and your progress really towards the exam.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what are the benefits of getting your scripts marked?
Well, the real benefits of getting your scripts marked is you get some independent, objective feedback in terms of your progress, which can always be useful. I think back to the days when I was a student, it can be tricky, can't it, getting prepared for the exam and just sort of understanding at each point in time how you were doing. So just getting some external feedback, and the markers will help you understand how you're progressing. They'll also give you lots of tips in terms of ways to improve, and also help you with your exam preparation, give you lots of tips in terms of how to tackle the paper well.
Great stuff, great stuff. Now, I must confess, when I was a student and I had my assignments arrive to me in the post, I would get the solutions at the same time. And I do confess at times I did refer to those solutions when I was doing my assignments. And I think if I remember rightly, my employer insisted that we got all our scripts marked. So it felt a little bit like cheating, but I think it was still legitimate practice. But do you have any advice for how people should actually use these assignments and mocks, and how they should use this marking service if they do have their solutions available?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question to ask. And I think the most important thing I would say as a tutor is that as a student, you are using the marking and the assignment solutions in the way that is best for you, to help you prep. And we all know we all have slightly different ways of getting well prepared for the exam. I would certainly expect on the really early assignments that there might occasionally be times when you're like, I can't get started on a question. It would just be really useful for me to have a little bit of look at that bit of the solution before I go off and produce my answers. On the assignment cover sheets, we'll talk a little bit more about the sort of submission of the marking later, but basically on the assignment cover sheet that you fill in with your assignment, you do get an opportunity to say, I have used the solutions. That can then be really useful to somebody who's marking your work, because they can just see how you're doing with things, and they can give you some extra advice then. If there's a particular area that you were struggling on, that you needed that extra support, they can help. In terms of as you get to the later assignments, and certainly into the mocks, we'd definitely be suggesting you shouldn't be using the solutions, because you're really trying to get yourself ready for the exam, at that point in time. So moving away from looking at the solutions there would definitely be my advice on that one.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely right. I'm having to cast my mind back a little way now, but I'm pretty sure that it was only the early assignments that I pulled the solutions out for. So you talked a little bit a moment ago about the team of markers, or the bank of markers that are used. Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Yeah, sure. So if you do undertake having our marking service, then we've got a team of external markers who do the marking for us. Most of those markers are qualified actuaries, and they are there to provide a lot of input in terms of the work that students produce and help you get really well prepared for the exam. We monitor our markers' performance over time. Our latest set of stats from the last summer showed over 98% of scripts that students provided feedback on. So once your script is marked as a student, you've got the opportunity to give feedback on what you thought of the quality of the marking. 98% of scripts were graded as being excellent or good marking. And in terms of getting your script back from the marker, 93% of scripts were returned within 3 working days.
Oh, that sounds good. I'm sure it is. I know certainly that I benefited a lot from when I was a student from the comments that I got back from markers. So I can highly recommend that people take advantage of that information. So what sorts of comments might you expect on your script? What should you expect from what's returned to you from the marker?
Well, our key remit with our markers is that they need to add value, value beyond what you could get from just looking at the solutions yourself, because as a student, you're going to get access to the solution. Mm-hmm. So really it's about what they can add over and beyond that. So if I'm thinking about the early subjects, maybe some of those numerical subjects is maybe helping you with shortcuts, better ways of doing things in terms of working your way through different methods towards answers. If I'm thinking about the later subjects, it might well be helping you with idea generation, different ways of looking at questions, structuring answers. Really, it's that sort of added value beyond that you can get from looking at a marking schedule.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. There are some options, aren't there, for marking? What options are available to students in terms of the marking that they receive?
Yeah, this is rather complicated. I'll try and make it as simple as possible. If we firstly think about the assignments, well, for the assignments, you've got 2 choices. One choice is to purchase marking for that specific set of assignments, what we call purchasing series marking. If you purchase series marking, you get a choice then, if you're buying it at the start of the session, whether to get the solutions straight away or whether only to get the solutions once your script has been marked. You'll have recommended and final deadlines for submitting your scripts. You've got to then get your script in by that final deadline for it to be marked. If for some reason you don't submit it by the final deadline, we send you solutions then anyway, if you haven't got them. Your other choice is to purchase what's called marking vouchers. Now, marking vouchers are a bit more expensive, but they are much more flexible. If you buy a marking voucher, it lasts for a 4-year period, and you can use it to submit any script in any subject. So you don't necessarily need to use all your marking vouchers up this session. Again, there are recommended final deadlines for the marking vouchers, just to make sure we get the script back to you in good time for the exam, but it's just a lot more flexible. So you've got a couple of choices there. There's series marking or the marking vouchers. If we then think about our mock exams, for our mock exam, you can buy mock exam marking in advance, again with sort of set deadline dates to meet, or again you could use your marking vouchers. And we have the additional mock pack. You might have seen sort of AMP, it gets shortened to. With AMP, that can only be submitted using our marking vouchers. Bit complicated, but no basically problem. Those 2 sort of routes to getting your scripts marked.
Do we have anywhere on the website that explains those different options?
Yeah, absolutely. The marking section on the website sort of sets out your options and gives you a little bit more detail there, about how, for example, the marking vouchers work.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'll make sure I put a link to that in the description to our video. I know this is what YouTube
do, isn't
it,
when
they talk about the description of the video. So yes, I'll put a link to that so you can follow that. Incidentally, if anyone paid full attention to that who's studying CB2, I think that's an excellent example of price discrimination. So you can remember that one in case anyone asks about you in the exam. Excellent. So one more thing, just to clarify, if I have a script that I want to submit, how do I go about doing that?
Yeah, so things have changed a little bit, because I heard you, David, talk about when I used to get my script back by post.
Yes, I used to post mine. Yeah, that was back in the day.
me as well. We're going back a little bit in time there. Things have changed a little bit. quite recently. So now we are using the BPP online portal, the hub, for both students to submit their marking and also get their marked script back. I expect a lot of students will be familiar with the hub already. You know, if you are using our online classroom or if you've got Peeble. And the way it works is if you purchase marking, you'll then be given access on the hub to a course, which is a marking course. If you bought series marking, you get the series marking course. If you bought marking vouchers, you get access to this marking voucher course. Please don't worry if as a student you don't have a hub account at the moment. If you buy marking, you'll immediately be invited to set up yourself up a hub account and get access. And basically, once you are ready to submit your script, you go into that area of the hub, you upload your script. We'll then send you an email so you know everything's worked okay. We know your script's there to be marked. And once the script's been marked, we'll send you another email going, your script's been marked. Here's a link to go in and see it. And then you can go onto the hub and you can see the marks that have been allocated to you for each question. You can see your overall score and you can download your marked script with all the comments. And it does vary from subject to subject. Some other subjects have some extra stuff too, have sort of marking templates, some extra materials too. And if it is series marking, you also get access to your solutions on the hub at that stage too.
Brilliant. The wonders of modern technology, eh?
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Great stuff. Thank you so much for your time, Helen. I know I've learned a lot, and I hope everybody that's watching has learned a lot too. So I guess all that remains to me is for me to say goodbye.
Welcome. Thank you. Thanks, David.
And hopefully we'll see you all again soon for another episode of Tutor Talk.